And we are live tonight from Eternum, back with the New World Report. I'm here, joined by my friend Lamani. We're a little bit later this week. We were waiting for news, Lamani. News showed up.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Little weird, but nothing.
Little weird, but nothing. You guys know the drill. It's 3 topics on my channel, 3 topics on Lamani's channel. If you want the whole video, you got to go like and subscribe to both. Lamani, are you ready for the New World Report?
I'm as ready as I'll ever be, I guess, at this point. So.
All right, so not a lot of the news this week, but the marketing guys were busy. There was a lot of Valentine's Day stuff actually happening with this this week. Weird stuff like there's this video, and I got this video playing in the New World Report right now. It's like come visit Eternum, and it's like a couple's vacation sort of knockoff video. It's kind of funny. It's kind of cringe. It's fine.
Yeah. Listen.
Did you hear about this?
Like, I've heard about it. I didn't watch it myself. We talked about it. I did read like the little caption, like kind of like a sandals resorty kind of thing.
Yes. It's very much what it was.
It's in good taste. It's like, hey, we're still here to have fun, but is that necessarily like the post we wanted this week? Not really.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So it's fine. I sort of come to appreciate things like this as an older gamer, because I'm like, eventually when they get chipped straight and this is going in a good direction, stuff like this will be fun.
Yes.
It's sort of tone deaf right now, but it is what it is. And alongside with this, you mentioned something about server transfer tokens, and they sort of made a nod to this Valentine's Day stuff. What do you got on that?
So they did say, you want to connect with your sweetheart, your honey. Here's your server transfer token. Get over there. Now, the one thing I will say that is slightly upsetting is there were a couple servers where they're like, hey, you can't actually go here on your server transfer token. One of them being Eden.
Really?
Which is my server, meaning we aren't getting more people. And right now we are struggling for people like every server, and we'll talk about that later. But it just seemed a little weird to me. I don't know if they're, planning for maybe a merge on it or something, or they know it's kind of like the streamery kind of server. So like once people are coming back, it'll be too much of a population. So it's a little interesting. It was one of the only NA East ones that they didn't let people transfer to. So I just, I was like, I didn't love that, especially because there's people that wanted to come over, people I would enjoy playing with. So personal opinion there.
Yeah, I had no idea, but I knew obviously servers transfers took place this week again, and we saw a small dip, but US West, man, is really struggling right now. We sort of talked about it earlier off screen, but yeah. And the last sort of bit coming out of this Valentine's Day update is a lot of these. There's a skin shop got updated. Corruption Love Pack. Corruption Love Pack. Corrupt Love Pack. So I'm just thumbing through them right now. Did you take a look at any of this stuff?
Yeah, I did. I have them up right now. I mean, I'm a big fan of this. This bow looks pretty spicy, and I do like the old hammer. I think that hammer.
Yeah, we talked about them needing hammer skins big time. That armor set is not in the game, I don't think. I don't think that pack is available.
Not that I've seen. I think the furniture looks pretty good too. They've done a really good job. I will say, as far as skins go, some of them kind of missed the mark. Like my favorite, some of those winter skins with the big hats. They missed the mark a little bit. But I will say the inside decorations that they added in for every holiday, like Halloween, the Valentine's Day one, the Christmas ones, those ones look all really good.
Yeah.
100%. Now, I just don't think enough people decorate their houses, to be 100% real with you. But there is that. They do look good.
Yeah, I'm sorry I didn't have my screen fixed. Now I got it up there. Musket, kind of goofy with like the heart charms on it and the fancy stock on that gun. And then I don't know. It's sort of wild to me that they took Valentine's Day of all the events, all the sort of real life events and did a thing around it. So I don't know, some fun stuff, but yeah.
Yeah. I think it's like other MMORPGs. Like, I mean, WoW does it. I think pretty sure Final Fantasy has one. Like, WoW is a special dungeon with like mounts and stuff they can drop. But I think it's just as many holidays as they can get in. I don't think it hurts, right? I think it's extra little cool spice that they can add on top. All
right. Let's keep it rolling here. Let's talk to the next thing here. This is a big topic: solo players in Eternum. This is a massive problem. I got asked about this on stream tonight. Like, what is going on with solo players? And right now, if you are a solo player in a server that has a declining population and,
which is every server,
and obviously because of the server merges, Lost Ark coming out really flattened a lot of this stuff. And we knew that would come. I've seen since people trickle back in to the game. But it's not quite at the level it was prior to like Lost Ark coming out and a lot of these new releases. My experience, Lamani, is I
Yeah.
do sirens, I do Merc, I do 3 or 4 gypsums, and I call it a day. That is
Yep.
the solo player experience for me right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong, right? It's like you don't have many, and this is something we've been talking about for weeks, or right? It's like, what do you do as a solo player? And unfortunately, we're at this point where there's not new content, there's not much that's changed. And if you're a solo player, I log in, I do my daily crafts, right? Get my Asmo, my runic leather, phoenix weave, all that stuff, and maybe some gypsum if I'm feeling it. But then it's like I'm not at the point. I'm 615, right? Like just chilling. So I was like, I don't have to run chest runs to try and get
Yeah.
extra
It's
gear
even
score.
shorter for you. I mean, you can be in and out in 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah. Like today, I mean, today on stream, I started streaming New World. I'm like, I'm gonna do this. I was ready to run mutators, realized it was Dynasty. Nobody ever wants to do Dynasty.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, all right, what am I gonna do? I joined in on a chest run. I was like, all right. And then I'm like, what am I doing with this? And I just switched to Lost Ark because as ridiculous as it is, as much as I don't necessarily love Lost Ark, it is mechanically challenging and interesting,
Mhm.
but there's tons of content, right? It's been out for a while, but there's just tons of content. Like you never run out of things to do. Will you always love that content? No, but at least it's something new, something different. And so I just think that's the struggle for the solo player is what do you do, right? It's hard to progress when there's not other players around, especially when you have things like tuning orbs where you need to pay into keys if you want to get into mutators,
Yeah,
or
but
if you're not even at the point where you can do a mutator.
I think that speaks to a larger problem, right? The flaws of the
Yeah,
mutator system and
yeah,
like creating this division where I'm on M2, you're on M6. Just like that sort of thing is just really, it's really off putting. I mean, that
yep,
you have a problem with solo players right now. Like it's
yeah,
even a problem with group players being able to come together and
yes,
do stuff. And
yes,
the population doesn't help that right now. I don't want to talk too much about because we're gonna be talking about new content in your video.
yep,
But maybe we can just talk about one thing,
for sure,
and maybe it's a
for sure.
light thing they can do to
Hmm.
sort of help solo players. And I don't know. I think that there's things they could do around maybe adding like random gypsum bumps to like just like non-standard elite chests. Like I don't know. Maybe like in areas where I just it's like
It could
tonight
be
I was like I'm
interesting.
gonna get back in and I'm gonna do some chest runs, some solo chest runs.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna do this on stream. My chest hadn't refreshed yet. So I'm just like sitting there. I'm like, well, what can I do? And it's just such a problem. Like there has to be another way
I
to.
will say, as far as like getting more expertise, and this isn't necessarily going to help with solo play, but they are adding. I don't know if you, and we'll talk about patch note wise on my channel, but they are adding a way to get expertise bumps by adding gypsum orbs that you can purchase from the faction shop once per day. So like there
Really?
is a little bit of like a catch up there, but it's like then it's not really giving you like more to do. It's just like, hey, you can progress a little bit faster.
Yeah. Okay.
So and we'll talk about some of that stuff later, but they are starting to do things like that. Hopefully, maybe we'll get some more catch uppy stuff. But yeah, I totally
Okay.
I get what you're
This
going
is,
for
this is
there.
a perfect opportunity to segue into our third topic for my video here, which is something that you've seen in Lost Ark. For
Hmm.
you guys that don't know, I think me and Lamani have a sort of different stance on cash shops. So
Hmm.
I actually come from a mobile gaming realm where I played a Star Wars mobile game that was 100% pay to win, right? And
Yep.
Lamani is come from the other end of the spectrum where, um, you know, where I come, it's like money is the premium. Where Lamani
Yep.
comes from, time is the premium. And
Yep.
so Lamani, what you've experienced the cash shop in Lost Ark. What do you think
Lost
about
Ark.
that
Yeah.
sort of stuff in
So
general?
in general, I will say you can play Lost Ark completely free to play. It's a free to play game, but you won't really start seeing this kind of like, okay, if I start paying, it's going to help. Until you kind of progress a little bit in the end game where you're like, okay, I'm completely out of materials. What would I do? Well, they have a cash shop where you can start buying materials, right?
Right.
There's cash shops for there's things called engravings where you get like a special bonus to your abilities or like passives. And you can buy these books to get them. You can buy pretty much like there's a card system where you need these cards. There's all kinds of basically any way that you would need to progress the game, you can use the cash shop for. Which there's two ways to look at it, right? One, it doesn't give them any competitive advantage because they balance PvP really well. So it's not like you paid more, you're going to kill me in PvP. It's you paid more, you can progress faster. So it's like pay to win in a sense, but it's more pay for convenience. So it's
Thing.
like, somebody could pay to be the absolute best in a sense, but are they the absolute best character? No, they've just progressed to that point. So it's okay. Like that's kind of why I'm still in it, but it's just like it's not like somebody paying is going to disadvantage me, right?
Yeah.
And so, but 100%, I've always been a player where time, right? The amount of time I put in and the amount of skill I gain from that, it only helps me, right? And so it's a little bit different. Now, I
Yeah.
mean, your end is Galaxy of Heroes, right? And
Yeah.
I know quite a bit about Galaxy of Heroes, believe
Yeah.
it or not. I've heard the pay to win stuff from old Danny
Yeah.
Boy, all right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I want to hear your take on it.
Yeah, so I sort of think that there's an area in which cash shops can exist in games like this, and I think in New World, for example, I think how you would do it is, you know, your score runs were a thing that they sort of nerfed and made it more difficult, sort of a few months ago with New World. I think the opportunity for a cash shop would be like, double expertise bonuses or things like that, stuff that's going to be like catch up mechanics, but it's not going to outright put you. I mean, maybe you turn that off at like 6:05, 6:10, something like that, where it's just like not catapulting you, months ahead of everybody else. I think there is a realm in which cash shops can exist. Something like that, maybe like Marks of Fortune, the in-game currency, allowing you to get the emotes and the fun stuff. And I wouldn't say, I know they're not going to do this with New World, because didn't they say it's $40 for the first year, and everything after a year is subject to change, right?
Yes. So that's kind of where I wanted to take that then. Also,
Yeah.
they're called Marks of Fortune. Is that what those are
So
called?
the in-game currency.
I never knew that. But I I agree to a certain extent. I think what they should really do is implement catch-up mechanics, and I guess just baseline of the game. I think if the day you start to paying for extra expertise boost, I think that's where it's gonna kind of push a lot of people away. Why not just institute them into the game? But
Right.
I think where cash shops should really exist is cosmetic. Like
Yeah.
that has been my, and I think even give them the option. Like I think I always talk about WoW all the time, right? But WoW does a really good job of cash shop where you can get skins, you can get mounts. They don't give you an advantage competitively, but you can also pay for like a level 60 character boost, right? So there's
Right.
that. But they're going to give you baseline gear.
What I would say is like a level 60 character boost. Like, I think that can exist, but I also think
Yes.
like getting them to like a baseline gear score of like
Yeah.
600.
Yeah.
Like for a casual player, like, okay, if a casual player buys that, that doesn't make them any better at the game. They're still going to be
Mhm.
behind the hardcore.
Yeah. I think
The difficult balance for sure.
yeah, it's definitely a tough balance. And I think the thing is, New World did say we'll give it a year, and I think what they're planning to do is have level 60 boost. They're probably implementing something. I'm honestly I'm a little scared to see what happens, because before New World even came out, there were systems in place that were very pay to win. It was a free to play game, and were very pay to win.
Right.
That they had announced, and people were very upset with that, and they completely changed their mindset on it and said, "Give us a year." Now I am a little scared to see where they do take it after said year, but this it could be good. It could be bad. I don't know. I'm just hoping for the best.
Yeah. I think there's a conversation to be had where, the side, I don't know how well the cash shop, didn't they have WoW tokens at one point where you could get ahead
So,
in WoW?
so WoW tokens, what they do, I really like this. But so since WoW's on the sub model, right? You can buy a WoW token, and then it will add game time, right? But you can also buy that WoW token and sell it for player gold. Okay.
Okay.
Now that also means that as a player, the time you put in, you can buy game time with gold, meaning you can completely eliminate your own sub, so that you're not paying for the game.
Okay.
Right. So that's kind of an interesting balance. But then you can also buy tokens with gold and then put them into the cash shop and then get skins, or put them towards a race change or a character boost.
Okay.
So I think I think they've done a relatively good job of balancing that. I just don't know what they would do on New World, because it's like, okay, get a 60 character boost. What is that really doing for most people? Because at that point they're going to be 60 and they're just trying to get expertise, right? And there's not really a point to re-rolling a New World or making a new character.
Yeah, that's a huge thing,
And
right?
so it's like
We're going to talk about that in a little bit on your video. Yeah.
yeah, and that like it's like I don't know. I don't know. So I think if they're going to implement a cash shop, it's going to have to end up being some kind of catch up expertise. But then it's like, why don't you just implement a catch up system? Like they're already
Yeah.
trying to put in some catch up systems. Like,
Okay. Well, that is exciting to learn that you can buy Gypsum casts. You said casts out of the faction
yeah,
shop.
there's just some more. Yeah.
Oh, dude, I totally missed that. Okay, I think we're going to talk about that in your in the next video.
Yep.
So we're actually going to head on over to Lamani's channel right now, guys. If you want to see the second half of this video, make sure you get over there, like and subscribe, and leave us a comment. Are you enjoying New World still? And we're see you over on Lamani's channel. All right, guys.
Beautiful. Peace.